Somebody shows up at their doorstep every morning and gives them $100. Other group of people, they don't get the $100. And so when this group of people gets the $100 initially, they're, wow, this is amazing. Thank you. They're full of gratitude. But let's say they get $100 given to them every day for 6 months, for a year. What's going to happen if after a year, the person who gives them the $100 stops giving them the $100? They're going to be looking out their front door going, where's the person? Where's my money? They're going to get angry. They're going to develop an entitlement mindset because they've been given stuff that they didn't work for, that they didn't deserve. Now, let me just give you 5 kind of categories of entitlement, types of entitlement. So the obvious one that we've been talking about is excessive entitlement or inflated entitlement. So it's the person who sees himself as special, and so they're very demanding and controlling, little empathy or concern for others, consider themselves to be above the law, and when things don't go their way, they get angry. So to them, it's all about their needs. They ignore the needs and feelings of others, their partner, and so they might demand constant special attention from their partner, but they never give that to their partner. Then there's that restrictive entitlement that we just talked about. So it's the person who doesn't seem to be entitled at all. They're constantly putting their needs aside, sacrificing, never voicing their opinions. They're constantly going along with other people's plans and ideas. And so how can they be entitled? It's when they get triggered. Then they become extremely entitled. Then there's dependent entitlement. And so when we think of entitlement, it's often, I want my needs met. But dependent entitlement, the focus is, I am entitled to depend on others, that others meet my needs for me. And so they're constantly playing on the kindness of others. They find very kind people and start depending on them, expecting them to meet their needs. Then there's barter system entitlement. We're going to develop this, but it's the person who, if I do this for you, you're obligated to do something for me. So if I'm kind to you, then you have to do stuff for me. So the guy that, if I take you to a nice restaurant and movie, you got to give me sex. That barter system in their mind. And then impulsivity, entitlement. And so this one has to do with, I have a right to live out of my limbic brain, to be impulsive, to express all my emotions any way I want. Doesn't matter how they affect other people, if they hurt other people, I have a right to be 100% authentic in the way I think is right. Who cares about love? Who cares about the rights and needs of others? It's all about me expressing myself, and I have a right to do so. And so there's no impulse control, no self-discipline. It's total limbic brain living out of that. So where does this life trap come from? How does a person end up being entitled? So it could be that the child grew up with parents who just overindulged them, gave them whatever they wanted, didn't set boundaries for the child, didn't enforce any consequences when the child broke the boundaries, took all the consequences away. So the child never had to experience restraints. The child never had to work hard for anything. Or it could be they grew up with a narcissist who himself was entitled. And so their role model and all the rationale that they listened to coming out of their parents' mouth was that entitlement was right, that they were okay in being entitled. They should feel entitled. Or it could be that the child just kind of never had to work hard for anything. So the parents made sure they got a job. Their parent made sure they got on sports teams, they got parts in play, got the best schools. They had life handed to them. They had the best of life handed to them. Life was always easy because the parents made it easy for them. They didn't have to go through hard work, disappointment, failure, struggle. Parents took all of that away. Or maybe they grew up in a family where the parents had the mindset that they didn't have to work. They could be irresponsible all they want. It was the government's responsibility to make sure they were okay. It was the government's responsibility to take care of them. They were entitled to a good life, and the government had to provide it. Or they grew up in a very racist culture or entitlement culture that said that certain groups of people were entitled to better treatment than everybody else. So let me give you two examples about that. So imagine there's two groups of people in culture, and the one group of people, somebody shows up at their doorstep every morning and gives them $100. Other group of people, they don't get the $100. And so when this group of people gets the $100 initially, they're, wow, this is amazing, thank you. They're full of gratitude. But let's say they get $100 given to them every day for 6 months, for a year. What's going to happen if after a year, the person who gives them the $100 stops giving them the $100? They're going to be looking out their front door going, where's the person? Where's my money? They're going to get angry. Hey, I'm entitled to this money. You have to give me this money. I'm owed this money. They're going to develop an entitlement mindset because they've been given stuff that they didn't work for, that they didn't deserve. Or another example is, let's say you've got two students, and the one student works their very hardest, and they just struggle in life, and they get a C, and that's the best they can get, and it takes a lot of hard work, and they do that work willingly. Over here is a student who just jokes around all day, doesn't do their homework, doesn't care, and they write a test, they do an essay, and it's terrible. They get F, 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 but the teacher likes the kid. And so the teacher gives them a C. They didn't earn it. They don't deserve it, but the teacher gives them a C. Well, the child, instead of going, oh, wow, that was super kind of me. I need to clean up my act a little bit. They go, oh, that was really, I got away with it. So they just continue to joke around. They continue to not do anything, and the teacher keeps giving them a C. But let's say after 6 months, the teacher goes, you get an F. What's that student going to do? Go, whoa, that's not fair. I deserve a C. That's what you've been giving me. So the student has become entitled because of the kindness of the teacher. And so what does the teacher then say? You want fair? I'll give you fair. I'm going to go back through every essay, every test, and you're going to get an F on every single one. What you've got from me has not been fair up till now. It's been undeserved kindness, and you've abused that. Another way that this entitlement comes is through shame cultures. So in shame cultures, it's really big, really important to have certain social norms and customs. And those started out originally as being very loving, nice things, but they got twisted. And so two things that are part of this are, in a shame culture, when you go visit somebody, you show appreciation, you give a gift. But that got twisted. So now what happens is you give a gift so that now they owe you. Now they're obligated to give you something. Now you have leverage and power over them. The other thing that happens in shame culture is you take the very goodness and kindness of helping poor people, giving money to those in need, and now you give money in need, not out of love, but out of, now I have power over them. Now they're obligated to me. Now I have leverage over them. I can get them to do what I want because I have given to them. Now they owe me. And so all of that can cause people in a shame culture to realize if I use gifts, if I use giving money, I can gain leverage, and that makes me entitled. Another common thing is throughout the world is colonialism, the caste system. And what that basically says is if you were born out of a certain genealogy, therefore you received a certain position, a certain station in life. And that station in life, if it happens to be a higher station in life, you now are entitled to a certain way of life. You now are entitled to other people treating you a certain way, doing stuff for you. They have to do what your station says they have to do. So it's all about what you're born into. You don't have to earn it. You can be corrupt. You can be a terrible person, but they have to let you away with bad stuff. Justice can't be done because of your station. You're entitled to a certain way of life.